So we're about halfway through this week. It's a Wednesday at the moment, and I wanted to really put a quick message out there for those people that are constantly pushing really on that hustle culture and trying to make sure that you're getting all your tasks done, you're doing tomorrow's work today if you have free time, that kind of mentality. And I've been there and I did that. I'm still doing that, so I'm not really making an argument against hustle culture, because I think that constant work and that constant grind is very important for you to build the business to the level that you can step back and really just allow it to run itself. But what I do want to actually shed light on is the fact that you're going to have moments or seasons, you can call them, as most people would say, where there's not that much work that you have. And a lot of it is just that you can either choose the time to relax or choose the time to keep learning. And I've been in two minds where there's not really tangible tasks I can work on. You can just make up tasks where you sit there and think, oh, I could hire someone to do this, or I could get someone else to do these tasks, or I could just keep checking in on people and nurturing those connections. And so there's these tasks that I guess you set yourself just for the sake of feeling like you're a bit busy. But to be quite honest, the last week and a half has just felt like that there's not much busyness at all. And from constantly racing and constantly trying to find something to do and being at a real tighter schedule, it feels a bit strange. And for whatever journey or point of your journey you're at in your entrepreneurial stage, you might have been told that it's very hard to get back into routine once you break it. And so there's also that idea of once you really get into hustle culture, it's really hard to actually get out of it into relaxation mode. And I used to hear my friends say that to me, and I think that's garbage. You know, I'll be able to switch between real easy. But I sit here and I'm in those two minds of, I really need to do some work and I really need to get some progress made on the board. But then at the same time, there's actually not much to do. And you could always read, you can always look at a certain topic and learn a new skill. And these are the things I definitely am going to continue to occupy my time with. But what I really wanted to put focus on in this video, and I'm not sure if I'm going to film another one this week, depending on what happens, but the key thing here is that when things feel slow in the business, just continue to put yourself in a moment where you can continue to learn and grow anyway. Because things happen for a reason, and you're never going to really have any net loss if you're continuously learning. And that's where my head's at the moment. So sitting here now, really spending that time to work on certain skills, revisit topics or revisit books to just solidify that knowledge even more, just to make sure that I'm really covering all bases and actually investing in the future me. Because it's not just the idea of investing in the business, it's investing in me as an asset, and I will continue to be in all the businesses I continue to build in the future for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And so me making myself a better asset now is serving future me in those stages. So if you're sitting there and you're one of those people who are building their business at the moment and things feel slow, or you feel like that you're wasting time, or you feel like you're not doing enough work, if you have that time, just continue to learn and grow. And so that's probably what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Now I had to record this straight after I made the first recording, which in the video you'd see that they're straight after each other. It's the exact same day, still the Wednesday. When I said that I was going to go over and do some learning and revise over some of my notes, it's exactly what I did. So on the business events I've been going to for the last year, we've had a few notes here that we're flicking through, and then it's just allowed me to review some of the systems and processes I've already put in place up and coming to launch. And one of the key things I found in one of my notes was the idea of emotional peaks during the selling cycle. And when you look at a customer journey, there's moments where their emotions will fluctuate from going really high to happiness peaks and then really down low and then really back up high, and then it's constantly in a wave. And so what I want to try and do is not necessarily level it out too much, because if you have a completely happy experience, you sort of still maintain a good customer experience, don't get me wrong. But it's more potent if you still have moments where it's not as happy, because if there's moments where there's happiness at level 10 compared to, and then some moments at level 7 or 8, the 10 moments feel happier because there's a perception of drop in some other areas. So you still need that wave of emotions, but you need it to be less deep when it goes down to those lower levels of happiness. So for example, with the customer journey with the supplements, one of those areas where the emotional peaks will be low is waiting for the product to arrive. Now we want it to be low because we want those unboxing moments, and then when they order, those are moments of happiness. Those are happiness peaks. But when we're waiting for the product as a customer perspective, we still don't want them to feel like they're regretting their purchase, because in that 48-hour window after they press purchase, you need to validate their decision, because all they're going to be doing in those 2 days of waiting for the product is trying to justify in their head why it's worth buying. It's already done, but if you can justify why they bought, it's going to help you in the long term to be able to maintain that customer retention and build that relationship with the customer as a brand. So when we're looking at referrals here, if we want to get them to actually bring in more customers, or if we want them to have better retention, we want to make those emotional peaks when they dip into those emotional valleys. We want them to be higher than a standard. So here, for example, in the diagram, you can see here that I've got a low point here. We'd want to bring that up. So one of the things I'm implementing here, and this also ticks other boxes as well, but just in reference to what I'm talking about here, one thing I've just added to the email flow is right after they get a notification saying their order has been shipped, that's where those emotional digs are going to be, where they're not going to feel as happy as when they purchased. And so to compensate for that and raise that emotional dig there, we're going to bring it up a notch and then send them an email a day later, which is going to be one of the 2 to 3 days it's going to take to ship. That email is going to be join an entrepreneur community filled with different entrepreneurs exactly like you. So the idea is I'm going to create a little WhatsApp or a Telegram group where all my customers are able to join, and it's not necessarily so I can spam them with junk. It's more the sake that my focus there is connection, and my focus there is making sure that these people can get as much value out of being a customer with Eden Supplements as possible. And so one of the things in the digital era these days is that there's a lack of connection, there's a lack of networking, there's a lack of human to human relationships. And so the idea of having my brand as also a gateway to connect with other entrepreneurs is going to be massive when there's thousands and thousands of them as customers. So from here, this is going to be an email that's sent within a day. This is just going to be simply an invite link for them to be able to join the group. And then while they're waiting, they're pretty much just going to be able to network and connect with people. And that good value and that goodwill is again going to be attributed to you as a brand. And so when we're looking here at emotional peaks, that would by far bring that dig back up to maybe still them enjoying waiting for their product, which is not something most brands will do. Normally they'll be able to hit that mark of having a nice little sales cycle and they feel good about purchasing, and the unboxing's great, the product's great, but that little gap there where they're waiting for the product, if you can make sure that you stand out in those little moments there as opposed to other brands, that's going to be game changing. And so that's what I'm really working on at the moment. It's probably going to be a small subtle change, and then I'll go back to learning and checking through my notes. So I'm going to leave that there. Now I'm actually editing the video at the moment, so I'm going to chuck this straight into the video afterwards and then upload it straight away. But what I do want to put across here, and I put this at the end of the video because it's more of a inside of mind, genuine reiteration of why I do the documenting side of things. And it's important that I say this because what I'm doing by showing people the effort, the in and outs, the mistakes, the problems and the obstacles that go into actually creating a product from an idea that you have is not only to show how much effort goes into making sure you bring something good into the market for customers, but it also puts the importance on that it's not impossible to turn just ideas that you have into reality. And I think that's important for more people, especially entrepreneurs our age, to know, because there's such a push between doing the quick and easy way to making money. And there's obviously not many people that might be watching this are religious, but there's actually a good proverb that talks about this, where the quicker you obtain your wealth, the easier it is to lose it. And so I'm not saying that you take years and years building your wealth and your cash flow and your amount in your bank. That's not the approach, but it's the idea that if you spend the time building the foundations, and if you spend the time working the skills, overcoming the obstacles, using that as a process to build you and focus on building you as an asset as opposed to quick cash, you're going to be better long term, and it'll be easier to maintain your wealth for future generations. And that's the game that I'm playing here. It's the long term of making it a better outcome for not only me, my mother, my friends, my father, my stepmom, but it's more the idea of making it better for my grandkids, my grandkids, my wife, my kids' wives, or my kids' husbands. And so when you play the long game like that, and when you invest in such a long-term vision, I want to show people that something like bringing your ideas to market as opposed to a quick fix like drop shipping in e-com. Not saying drop shipping is a bad thing, but it's the idea of if you play the long game and bring ideas into the world to better people, not only you're playing that long game and you're building yourself as an asset, but you're also genuinely providing value to those. And if you can make an idea that you have in your head that's genuinely good for reality and good for the customers in the market or just the world, then chase it, because it's not that hard. And this series, or me documenting this, is going to be showing and proving to people that you can actually impact lives with the ideas that you have. So whoever you are that's either got an idea that they're thinking to neglect because it might be too hard, push towards the idea, because the person that comes out on the other side, which is future you, is going to be the best thing for not only future you, but for your future wife and kids, and for those who are in your circle afterwards, because when it's all said and done, you'll be the best version and you will surprise yourself. So I'm going to leave that there so I can upload this video, and take care.